People are very familiar with the fight or flight reflexes, but in reality, there's a third reflex that is frankly much more common, and that is to freeze. People are experiencing a traumatic event. Our brains process sensory information differently than they do when we are in a non-life-threatening situation. So it's really important that we help people understand that the body's systems are really what controls that most of the time, and it's a survival mechanism. The fact is that most sexual assaults are perpetrated by somebody that is already within the social circle of the victim. Far and wide, we're talking family members, extended family members, close family friends, your peer group. And then as we start to get into college years, that peer group becomes very large. Sexual assault victims in general do not make formal complaints to police. It is one of the most underreported crimes, period. We live in a society where there is ample amounts of information demonstrating our culture. People in our culture frequently question the accounts from sexual assault victims. And victims know that because they live in that culture and may have participated in that. It will take time to make sense of what happened. They may test whether or not this person is a continued threat. They may decide after a period of weeks or months that they want to tell and get help, or it's often years and years when they realize that this has impacted their relationships, their feelings about themselves, their mental health, that they realize they need to deal with what happened and get help. The bottom line is most victims have never reported to police and continue to not report to police. The reality is that vulnerability is in the eye of the offender. There's no way any of us can minimize all the different things that different offenders might see as an opportunity or a vulnerability to exploit. For some people, it might be intoxication. For others, it's a disability. For others, it's a language barrier. And it is a surprise. You do not know that you are being set up for an assault or selected as somebody whose boundaries they're going to test. This is a crime that is 100% defined and carried out by offenders. They decide who, when, where, and how they're going to carry out a sexual assault. There are a variety of studies that over the years have looked at rates of false reporting, and the best analysis of the research is that false reports happen only 2 to 8% of the time. We have gone through now several years of hearing from tens and thousands of survivors about what their experiences have been. And it seems like the problem isn't necessarily a lack of information about sexual assault. It's out there, and the research supports all of the anecdotal evidence that people have been sharing on social media and in personal conversations. I think we really have to look at some deeper issues in our culture about why it is that we don't believe adult women when they tell us that these things have happened to them. It just feels like a willful ignorance or a willful disregard for what research and survivors have shown to be true consistently. Our country needs to catch up. And if this is something that we really want to address and really want to prevent and really want to make it possible for people to report, we have to actually listen to what survivors are telling us. And those things actually, if we listen, can make our society safer.